because what I'm getting from New York, that GM, I think his name is Jacob Schoen or Jacob Shane. He is already he's already giving John Harbaugh some of his control. Exactly. They have correct. I haven't found that missing piece yet, but there's a lot of missing pieces coming out about Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry on why severing that relationship was so painful. And Kevin Stefanski, as of now, hey, he's still getting his $5 million left off of his contract. So Kevin Stefanski is fine. And the only reason that Kevin Stefanski is quote unquote interviewing with I think now they're saying that he may interview with the Atlanta Falcons, which I don't think that's going to be true. And I think he's going to interview another team. Only thing Kevin Stefanski is doing right now, he's just checking the box just so he can continue to draw his money and his checks from the Cleveland Browns, because they still owe him $15 million off of his contract. And I don't care. I definitely don't want him to come to Atlanta, because Kevin Stefanski and Mike McDaniel, I know a lot of people is liking Mike McDaniel to replace Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, but I just don't see it happen. I have, like I stated in my other video, I have too much PTSD when I see Mike McDaniel, because he reminds me of Kevin Stefanski for some whatever reason. But going back to John Harbaugh, the reason why he wants to choose his GM, because if he has control over his GM, and if he assists in hiring that person, they will cover his butt if he gets to the New York Giants and they don't win. That's all it is. Phil, coaches in history, he's tied with Andy Reese. I'm surprised they didn't give him a little bit more so he can be the highest paid coach in the NFL. But the only reason is Kevin Stefanski, he's making money. John Harbaugh, he's just going to continue to get money and get the remaining $34 million that the Ravens have on his contract. So he's going to be good. John Harbaugh is going to be good. That GM is going to cover for him. And from what I gather, New York is rolling out the red carpet for John Harbaugh, something that we never seen before. To New York to meet with them, Jaxson Dart was in the room. Jaxson Dart was sitting at the table, and he basically said after meeting Jaxson Dart and everyone's in the table, he was sold. He was sold. More is going to come out regarding the Cleveland Browns, and maybe that's why John Harbaugh didn't want to be part of that organization, because as you know, what the Cleveland Browns did to Shedeur Factor this year, we already know that was scandalous. So maybe John Harbaugh is looking at the New York Giants as being the safest bet, and that's what I'm going to say. Hey, Vested Up, hey, how you doing? So yeah, that's it. John Harbaugh, think about it. He's 63. The only team, I'm not going to say the only team, but he's been with the Ravens for 19 years. He's going to a new organization, new leadership, new players. He really don't know anyone. Of course, he wants a shield, and the GM is going to be the shield. And of course, he couldn't go to the Cleveland Browns because Andrew Berry, Jimmy Haslem already said Andrew Berry is not going anywhere. Now, that was a term I thought they was going to be able to negotiate, but Cleveland Browns must have said, no, I'm not letting Andrew Berry go. And Andrew Berry knows too many, how can I say it? Andrew Berry knows where the bodies are buried. So that's not going to go nowhere. And before I went public, I did a video on Jimmy Haslem. Jimmy Haslem has been under the FBI radar since 2014 with the Flying J's gas station scandal. So Jimmy Haslem is not going to let Andrew Berry go because Andrew Berry is supposed to cover Kevin Stefanski. That didn't happen. So I think really Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry probably fell out a little bit behind the scenes. But still, Kevin Stefanski is $15 million richer without touching another clipboard or headset. So he'll be fine. Let me see what's going on. He could not have. Yeah, that is true. That is true. That's true. But I heard that the New York City and the New York Giants is rolling out the red carpet for John Harbaugh, and they plan on building an empire, which is fine. I mean, as of now, our main focus is the Cleveland Browns. But my question is now that John Harbaugh is not available now, so who's the next best thing? I'm going to say Tomlin. Mike Tomlin. That's my squad, the Giants. I understand that. I definitely understand that. Yeah, we shall see. That's my squad, the Giants. Okay. Okay, so are you a Shedeur Sanders fan also? Because I see you in my chat sometimes, in my comment section. But yeah, with John Harbaugh doesn't want the coach. I did hear that too. She said absolutely. All right. Well, thank you still for joining the channel. Like I said, I see you in the comments sometimes. But yeah, I did hear that Tomlin does not want to coach another year. I think he's been with the Steelers. That's all he know all his life, 18, 19 years. So, these older men, let's say they don't spend 20 years, almost 20 years with the same team. I don't blame them. Take a break. They probably got all the money in the world, accolades, that any one person can't handle. Mike Tomlin is the most winning coach in history. So really, I mean, going to the Cleveland Browns, working with Shedeur Sanders, attempting to get to a Super Bowl. If he couldn't do it with the Ravens, if he couldn't do it with the Steelers, and you know that the Cleveland Browns is a team that is the process of rebuilding. I mean, Mike Tomlin said, "Hey, I'm going to retire." Well, I'm sorry, he has not announced that he's going to retire, but I feel like he's definitely going to take a break. And Miss Sparks, hey, thank you. Hey, thank you, Trent. Hey, thank you, Trent. Hey, thank you. Hey, thank you, Miss Sparks. But I just read it. I did hear that too. But as I stated earlier, I think Kevin Stefanski, because he was fired without cause. So there is a caveat to that. In order for him to maintain in order for him to get the remaining millions from his contract, he has to seem like he is actively looking for employment. He just can't sit home and draw the checks. He has to seem like he is interviewing for other jobs. Just like, I guess, in the regular civilian world, in order for you to draw unemployment, you still have to apply for 1 or 2 jobs a week, to get those type of benefits. That's all Kevin Stefanski is doing. There is no one in the NFL, no other team in the NFL wants to work with Kevin Stefanski. Not at this point anyway. Everything is too new. It's still dirty. He's only been fired, maybe a week and a half ago. There's if the Atlanta Falcons, if the Atlanta Falcons even attempt to offer Kevin Stefanski the job in Atlanta may riot. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead. If you haven't seen that video that I put out there about what Cam Newton said, Cam Newton stated that Kevin Stefanski cannot relate to cultured Black players. I didn't say it. Cam Newton said it. And Cam Newton got the information from players that trust him with a listening ear. So if Kevin Stefanski go to Atlanta, I don't see that happen. I definitely can see that happen. Going to the Ravens. So let's talk about that. Why would the Ravens, with Lamar Jackson still being the quarterback as of now, why would the Ravens hire Kevin Stefanski, who has a losing record and has a worse resume than John Harbaugh, the one they just released? If that's the case, they should have kept Harbaugh. Hey, Atlanta in the house. Someone wrote that Stefanski is one of the... Okay. Hey, bring that back up in about 15 minutes. I bring that up because Acho has upset me in the last week since Kevin Stefanski has been fired. Emmanuel Acho, he rubs me the wrong way, and now I know why. Please bring that up. Favor, bring that up in about 15 or 20 minutes. If Favor has to drop off, somebody else, please bring that up. Because I know why Acho is doing the things that he's doing. And it's not just because it's Kevin Stefanski. It's another reason behind that. If the Browns would... Hey, I'm glad you brought up that name. So, hey, let's go back to the Giants. So there's something called the Rooney Rule, right? And I know everybody heard about that. In order for the Giants to have offered John Harbaugh the contract so quickly, that means that they had to have already interviewed 2 minority candidates. And one of those minority candidates was Antonio Pierce. So they have already interviewed 2 minorities. I cannot remember the name, but Antonio Pierce was one of the people that the Giants have already interviewed just to check the box for the Rooney Rule. Yeah, I totally understand that. I don't know what they're going to do with Tommy Reese. I know they did interview Tommy Reese last week, maybe 2 days after Kevin Stefanski was fired, but I really think that's just for protocol, just to give him an interview, just to be nice. They do not watch the game. What game, Ms. Sparks? But yeah, regarding Tomlin, the reason why it's going to be hard for any team to offer Mike Tomlin a contract is because he stepped down, he quit. So therefore, and I hate to use this term, but they said that the Steelers still own rights to Tomlin. So with that being the case, if they still own rights to Tomlin, that means that whatever team gives Tomlin an offer, they will have to give up a lot to even offer him. So I really think that's why Mike Tomlin is going to, quote unquote, go on vacation for a year or two, just to get under that contract. Because I don't think the Browns is going to give up anything to get Mike Tomlin, which I think he would be a good investment. But what the Steelers would ask for, it would probably be worse than Deshaun Watson. And how many round 1 picks did the Cleveland Browns had to give up to get Deshaun Watson? So I don't think they would risk that. That would be a lot to risk. Oh, okay, roger that. It seemed like all the projected quarterbacks. Yes, yes. So let's talk about it. That's a good point. 420 Jenkins. So before I became public, because if you're a day one investor, you know that my public was faceless. So I did roughly about 150 videos in the dark, and the only reason I became public is because this new algorithm that YouTube have, from October to December, everything was going fine with my channel. Well, I started noticing that the view counts was going down, even though the quality of work that I still was producing. Hey, everybody in the chat, if you can, please hit the live so the algorithm doesn't kill this video. So with that being said, I noticed that my view counts was going down, and basically the algorithm, because I wasn't showing my face, they were shelving my channel. So that's the only reason I came out, and I had to start doing videos showing my face, just to let YouTube know that I'm a real person and then I'm not AI. And now I'm in this process, quote unquote, like a jail, like a sandbox, where the algorithm is reassessing my work and my videos before I could touch. As of now, I think if none of my original investors hit the all notification bell, I have about maybe almost 600 investors that probably don't even know I'm still doing videos, because the algorithm has probably separated me from them. So we're going to move forward. Okay. Yeah, so going back to those quarterbacks, so I brought that up to say this. In one of my videos when I was faceless, when I was considered a faceless channel, I told all of these black men, all of these black young players that was in college before Shedeur Factor started playing, and I'm telling them now, stay in college. In college, they have all of the power in the world to negotiate their contracts, all of the salaries. As of now, college is the best thing for any young player, especially young black players, to stay in college and negotiate their contracts, their NIL deals, and everything. Because as you see, once you go to the NFL, it's not all about football. Football, I'm finding out football for them 4 quarters is only really 1% of what these athletes, these football players actually have to deal with behind the scene. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. And the only sad thing about this is that the only reason that we know about the dirt and everything that's going into the NFL now is because of Shedeur Sanders. So many people started linking up with the story, started doing videos about this story because of Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders has activated the community. For any other player in the future that the NFL think that they can do wrongly and get away with it, the same way that we stood up for Shedeur Sanders is the same way I want the community to stand up for any player that the NFL may deem as, oh, we're going to sabotage you for whatever reason. I'm bringing that up. I'm bringing this up for a reason. So Tony Grossi, and I can't, let me control myself. Tony Grossi had made a statement last year, and I've heard it from another analyst. They stated each year there's one player that the NFL select to degrade to get them at a cheaper value. Last year, we all know who that player was, Shedeur Sanders. They got Shedeur Sanders pennies on the dollars. And the reason why it didn't hurt Shedeur Sanders like that is because Shedeur Sanders was already coming from a wealthy family. But what if it was your brother, your cousin, or your uncle, or someone in your family that didn't have a wealthy family? That means just like Isaiah Bond. Now, I really don't know the situation about Isaiah Bond, but let's just say if it was Isaiah Bond last year and they got him, which they did, the Cleveland Browns did, they got him on the pennies of the dollar. But if Isaiah Bond didn't get in that situation that he got in, and let's just say the NFL wanted to target him to get him at a cheaper price, I don't think Isaiah Bond and any other player that went through the situation that Shedeur did, I don't think they would have survived it. I hate to say that. I really hate to say that. The mental abuse and affliction and annihilation that Kevin Stefanski did to Shedeur Sanders, and we saw that with our eyes, especially after that win at Las Vegas, when Kevin Stefanski gave accolades to everyone in that locker room, and when he got the Shedeur Sanders name, he was like, oh yeah, good job, Shedeur. We all remember that scene. That ate me up. And if Shedeur Sanders, his whole body language just changed. I mean, it killed that young man. But I'm glad that Shedeur Sanders has a very strong family unit. And of course, his spiritual faith, and he got through that. But any other player with a different background, there's no telling where that player would be. Let me see here. Yeah. So, All right, so let's move forward. So, Mike Tomlin. So we already talked about that. Mike Tomlin coming to Cleveland is going to be a very hard. That's going to be very hard to pull, only because he stepped down. He didn't get fired. If he would have got fired, that would have been something totally different, because he would have been fired without cause, just like Kevin Stefanski. But because he stepped down, whatever team picks up Mike Tomlin, they're going to have to give the Steelers something that I don't think no team is willing to give for Mike Tomlin, even though he's worth it. Definitely not the Cleveland Browns. They have too many holes. They have too many skeletons. They can't afford the capital, especially if they try to build this OLine. And I don't want to get back on Cam Robinson, but Cam Robinson. Hey, from what Andrew Berry had stated last week, I think in that post conference, only one member of the OLine current roster has a contract. I don't know who that player is. I don't even want to speculate because I put the wrong information out there. But Andrew Berry said they got money. Wink, wink, and they're going to go get that OLine. I heard he's gone. Cam Robinson, if that's the case, hey, if that's the case, that's awesome. Yeah, I really think that too. I'm gonna go back to your comment, 420 Jenkins. I really think the NFL, they really hurt their brand this year, because doing Shedeur Sanders in the draft is one thing. Of course, we know that the slide. Doing Shedeur Sanders the way they did him in the draft is one thing. But the way they continue to do him in the preseason, week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even up until the end of the season, everybody was watching. Even if they didn't like Shedeur Sanders, everybody was watching. So if you was a high school player, a college player, and even if you wanted to declare for the NFL draft this year, why would you doing that knowing that if they did that to Shedeur Sanders, that means that they could do it to me? No. I'm so glad for every player that wanted to be drafted this year. I'm glad they said, no, I'm going to stay in school another year. I said, let the NFL starve a new talent until they get their collective bargaining agreement correct, and they have a zero policy for anything that Shedeur Sanders went through and all the other players that we don't know about that has been abused by the NFL. Because we know those players, when them players retire, they're a different person. So a lot is going on in the NFL that we don't know about mentally. Antonio Brown, I don't know what happened. Of course, we all know about CTE. That, that could be a factor of it, but we just don't know. Shedeur Sanders doesn't have factors, but I'm sorry. Shedeur Sanders does not have CTE, but Shedeur Sanders, he does. I'm going to say it. If Shedeur Sanders is not talking to a therapist now, eventually he will. He has to talk that out. He's going to have to get that out of his spirit. He's going to have to. Do you think that's why they're staying in school? Most definitely. I think how they saw how the NFL treated Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders did no wrong. Shedeur Sanders, as in my book, he's an upstanding young man. Shedeur Sanders, besides those 2 speeding tickets that they blew out of proportion, Shedeur Sanders did no wrong. Shedeur Sanders had so many collegiate records coming out of college. Everybody, yeah, I think that's why I think for sure that's the reason why a lot of these players are staying in school, especially if you're a quarterback, because now so many people know the importance of having an OLine. And so let's just say these quarterbacks, they get drafted, in the first round, and they're going to a team that doesn't have a OLine, just like the Cleveland Browns. Them quarterbacks don't want to get hurt. Shedeur Sanders, that back injury that he sustained in Colorado, I'm surprised Shedeur Sanders, in many times, especially against the Steelers and the Bills and the Chicago Bears, the way they were sacking Shedeur Sanders with that back injury, I'm surprised he popped up off the ground. Whatever they're giving him in the background for his medical, it has to be some powerful stuff. You believe that too? Yeah. So, do y'all have any other questions? It has something to do with Deion. So, Favor, 1208. Colorado, the University of Colorado this year. I hate to say that. It was many factors on why those players are leaving Colorado and the way they performed this year. The way that Deion Sanders, after receiving so many warnings from podcasters, and I'm talking about before I even started my channel, so many podcasters were sending warnings to Deion Sanders about Pat Shumur. Oh, and let's not forget, if you don't know, Pat Shumur was Kevin Stefanski's mentor in the Minnesota Vikings. The only other team that Kevin Stefanski was associated with was the Minnesota Vikings. He started out as the running back coach, then he became the the tight end coach and the quarterback coach. That was it. Kevin Stefanski, as Andrew Berry said, he had zero head coaching experience. Going back to what I started in the video today and the video this morning, how did Kevin Stefanski get hired as the Cleveland Browns head coach? Because Kevin Stefanski assisted in his hiring because they had a relationship before Kevin Stefanski got to the Cleveland Browns. If you don't believe me, look at the hiring dates. Kevin Stefanski was hired January the 13th. If Kevin Stefanski was here 2 days ago, it would have been his 7th year as head coach as the Browns. Andrew Berry was hired January the 27th of the 28th of the same year, 2 weeks after Kevin Stefanski got there. If you don't believe me, go ahead, Google it. If you don't believe me, Google it. And the main coaches that did him dirty was fired. True. That is true. That is true. And I think Tomlin stepped down. I had put a poll I think it was last night or this morning. Did you think that Shedeur Sanders' win against the Ravens in week 17 influenced Tomlin to step down? A lot of my investors said no. I'm going to say 50-50. I think that Tomlin had a conscience. And I think, of course, we know in the beginning it was a collusion. That already came out. Eric Dickerson already came out. Tony Grossi recently just came out and said that Shedeur Sanders was not given fair treatment. We know this. Everybody know this. But I think Tomlin is different. I seriously think that Tomlin, and maybe 10 or 15 years down the line when Tomlin is writing a book or he's giving one of those historical interviews to ESPN or whoever he wants to get an interview for, he's going to expose the reason why he stepped down is because of the collusion against Shedeur Sanders, and he could not continue in a league that would do Shedeur Sanders or any other player in that manner. Remember, it's supposed to be a game, right? I think it hit Tomlin in a different way this year because of the demographics. Because of the demographics. Think about it. Hey, so what does the chat think about what I just stated? I think Tomlin stepped down for his own personal reasons, and one of those reasons was he could not be a part of the shield that did Shedeur Sanders, and they could do any other player like this. I think it was just too overwhelming. And if you go back, watch that highlight after the game, the way that he embraced Shedeur Sanders. And Tomlin and Shedeur Sanders did one of those numbers that Shedeur and Andrew Berry did in that locker room. If you go back and watch that clip at the end of the game, when Tomlin hugged Shedeur Sanders, he was whispering something to him. And the way that he grabbed and hugged that young man, that was genuine. I'm sorry, Tomlin didn't step down because they lost that game. Tomlin stepped down for a lot of reasons. And one of those reasons is because of how they did Shedeur Sanders. Facts. Okay, hey, I remember you, Evelyn Underwood. I said too in his spirit. Yes, his spirit was uneasy. Tomlin, I'm sorry. Even if the collusion, let's say all 32 teams wanted to prove something to Deion Sanders through his son Shedeur Sanders for whatever reason, because they said that sliding to the 5th round was really not the goal. Remember, Eric Dickerson came out and said that somebody said, no, you got to take him. It had went too far. It went too far. That's one thing. But not giving Shedeur Sanders first team reps, throwing the trash cans, all the narratives that came out for Cleveland. Everybody was watching that. Even the other coaches that was initially agreeing with the collusion. I don't think they knew it was going to go that far. And the way that Kevin Stefanski was playing with the OLine in since Shedeur Sanders started playing in week 10, I think it was, against the Las Vegas Raiders. I think that disturbed a lot of people, and it definitely disturbed a lot of those quarterbacks that's in college, and it definitely disturbed some of those quarterbacks that's currently in the NFL. You cannot tell me all of those quarterbacks, I don't care if they first string, second string, or third string in the NFL, they failed. They with them being in the NFL, you cannot tell me they went home and they could sleep peaceful after seeing what they did to Shedeur Sanders, not knowing if it could happen to them this year or the next year or the following year. A lot of people is having PTSD regarding this here. A lot of people. Yeah, I think Tomlin, out of all the people, I think Tomlin had an issue with it because, hey, guess what? 19 years, he's lost games before. He's lost playoff games before. I mean, really, that's like the Cowboys losing games in the playoffs so don't even get to the playoffs. This is nothing new for Tomlin, but something unique happened this year for him to step down. And I think it's because of the Shedeur Sanders situation. I think he couldn't shake it. Even everybody in this chat, and everybody's still talking about Shedeur Sanders, so we just can't shake it. We can't believe that the NFL did this on a global stage. A global stage. Kevin Stefanski, if Kevin Stefanski get hired this year, it's because he did. I'm not even gonna speak. I'm not gonna speak that. I'm gonna hold that. I'm gonna hold that. Every team was he facing about him to see what coach. That is true. That is true. That is true. And I did hear that Aaron Rodgers, I forgot who it came out from the Steelers. They said that Aaron Rodgers will not be QB. He is not on the roster next year. I think he's going to go ahead and retire. But Aaron Rodgers is not going to be on the Steelers next year. And also, I think that's another reason that Tomlin stepped down. For whatever the agreement was to bring Aaron Rodgers in versus Shedeur Sanders, I don't know what's behind the scenes. We all don't know what's behind the scenes, but we know that people talking is called quid pro quo. We don't know. We can only speculate. But I really think Mike Tomlin, if he retires after this year, I think it's going to hurt him in his heart that he actually went out this way with a 42-year-old quarterback that couldn't run. Come on, we saw Aaron Rodgers. And the only life I really seen Aaron Rodgers is in that game against Shedeur Sanders in that fourth quarter. In them last 2 minutes, I was scared. Aaron Rodgers was throwing the missiles down the field, and I was scared. But hey, we pulled it off. But Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers, and even after the draft, if you remember, Aaron Rodgers still probably held off. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks after the draft, before he even gave the Steelers the thumb up that he was going to accept an offer. Even Aaron Rodgers felt bad for Shedeur Sanders on the field. Even after that game, Aaron Rodgers went up to Shedeur Sanders with nice kind words, hugging him and everything, just like Tomlin. This thing is deep. And me personally, I hope it's not over. I still hope somebody file a suit against the NFL. That suit, whoever filed that lawsuit in Georgia after the draft, that case is still going forward. And do you know how much information, how much evidence that the Cleveland Browns gave that person that has that lawsuit? And Tony Grossi came out and said, yeah, it's a known fact that Shedeur Sanders didn't get a fair shake in the Cleveland Brown organization. I wish I know that person. They call it the John Doe. If it was a Jane Doe, John Doe, I wish they're a family member because they finna get paid $100 million or settle out of court. Giants collapsed several times this season. I have heard that too. But Nap Z, but guess what? The red carpet has been rolled out for Harbaugh. And he may already know that. New York Giants already know that. But for whatever reason, he has gotten every requirement that he wants in his contract. They have given it to him. So somebody knows something. They said he liked Jaxson Dart. Like I said, Jaxson Dart was in the interview a couple days ago that when he met with the Giants. He likes Scatterboo. I think he likes the wide receiver. So we shall see. We definitely shall see. But I did hear that about Harbaugh. I don't know. Do you think Tomlin was also bothered when he got rid of Russell Wilson? You know what? Possibly. Because he was a Steeler last year, right? Yeah. Possibly. Yeah, hey, that's a good fact. That possibly. I think if Tomlin would have had the right to do what he wanted to do regarding the roster, he definitely would have drafted Shedeur Sanders in the first round. I think it was pick number 20 or 21. He would have kept Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson was planning on being Shedeur Sanders' mentor. Russell Wilson didn't see that move going to the Giants. He didn't see that for, just to give Jaxson Dart some exposure on the bench so he can see what NFL looks like from the sideline. That's the same way that Tomlin was going to use Russell. And I think Russell probably would have played a few more weeks. But yeah, I think Tomlin is disgusted because they definitely used him in a way that he didn't want to be used regarding Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to say Russell Wilson. I love Russell Wilson. What are they missing? So let's talk about Mike McDaniels. So Mike McDaniels rubbed me the wrong way. I stated that earlier. Now, a lot of people says that, I think it was Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco, they stated a couple days ago that Mike McDaniels is an offensive genius. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't follow the Miami Dolphins, but I do know what their records has been for the last years. They have been a horrible team. I know what the Miami Dolphins looked like when they played Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. I think they said that Mike McDaniels was an offensive coordinator. He was a genius. I didn't see it. If you saw it, please let me know in the chat. I didn't see it. Now, that Nate gentleman, I never heard of him, Miss Sparks, so I definitely have to do some research on that. Like I said, before this year, I was a casual fan, but when I'm passionate about something, I jump all heads in it. They stated that Mike McDaniel has one of those personalities that can rub you the wrong way. Why he reminds me of Kevin Stefanski? Because of that reason. Kevin Stefanski rubs people the wrong way. Shedeur Sanders has already alluded to it, or did allude to it, that, you know, Kevin Stefanski, he felt like Kevin Stefanski didn't like him. We knew that Kevin Stefanski didn't like Shedeur. We saw that. We saw that on the global stage. Njoku had stated that he felt like Kevin Stefanski didn't like him. The only reason we know that, because Kevin Stefanski stated that Njoku felt like he didn't like him. Kevin Stefanski rubs people the wrong way. Okay, he doesn't know how to play the game. He needs some soft skill leadership skills. He definitely do. Soft people skills. He needs that. Mike McDaniel, I'm not going to say he's bad as Kevin Stefanski, but he rubs people the wrong way. And I don't need that energy going into Cleveland Browns. I don't need that going into the Browns this year. If Shedeur Sanders is going to stay there, and it seemed like he is, based off what Andrew has stated, based off what Jimmy Haslem has stated, we need some good positive energy coming in there. Mike McDaniel, I don't know. That's why Flores told him. Okay. Now Brian Flores, I definitely would love him to apply for the Cleveland Browns. I definitely would love for him to apply for the Cleveland Browns. I don't know. Now I did hear that the Ravens want to interview Brian Flores. I heard that the Ravens want to interview Brian Flores. We shall see. We shall see. Oh, yeah, about Stefanski, one of the most. Is that what it was? Oh, here we go. That jogged my memory. Emmanuel Acho. So let's talk about Emmanuel Acho. Emmanuel Acho. You know why? I'm not even gonna put it in a nice way. You know why Emmanuel Acho goes so hard for Kevin Stefanski? It's not really because of Kevin Stefanski. As of now, Kevin Stefanski has stated that the Cleveland Browns will. How did he put it? I forgot how he put it, but they're gonna realize the bad decision that they made. Hint, hint. So this is what I've learned with Acho. Acho, when he's speaking, we think that he's speaking on the surface level. Emmanuel Acho, when he's saying these things, he's not just talking about shallow level type of talking points. He's talking about behind the scenes stuff. What I'm alluding to, what I'm getting at, it's not to protect Kevin Stefanski in a way. Let's say in a way, maybe 2 or 3%, 10%. But no, Emmanuel Acho has already stated he don't want to be on TV all of his life. He don't want to be doing podcasts. Emmanuel Acho, come closer to the camera. Emmanuel Acho wants to be one of the big boys sitting at the table. So the way that he's coming from Kevin Stefanski, he's doing that to show CEOs and everybody else regarding the Cleveland Browns and the 31 other teams Emmanuel Acho is saying all of these things to send them dog whistles to let them know, hey, I got you. I'm not going to go against you. You can trust me. Invite me into your hidden circle, and I'm going to do your will. That is Emmanuel Acho's perspective in all of this. Yeah, it may seem like Acho is covering for Kevin Stefanski, but no, Acho's goal is something higher than this. And the only reason he covers for Kevin Stefanski because he has, y'all know that lawsuit that he's a part of. He's covering for someone there. I forgot the gentleman's name, but give me a minute. I'll do a video on that in a couple of days. He's helping that gentleman that's in that lawsuit. He's protecting him. He's also protecting his connection with the Cleveland Browns because Acho played for the Cleveland Browns and they quote unquote like Acho. Acho is getting information behind the scenes. And the only reason Acho is saying that Kevin Stefanski should be hired immediately, that frees the Cleveland Browns from paying Kevin Stefanski the remaining $5 million per year that they still owe Kevin Stefanski. So the sooner that Kevin Stefanski is hired, the Cleveland Browns will be able to keep that money or also or offset what another team won't give Kevin Stefanski. What do I mean by that? As of now, the Cleveland Browns owe Kevin Stefanski $5 million for the next 3 years. Let's see a team hire him for $12 million. That's $4 million a year. That means the Cleveland Browns will only have to come out of pocket $1 million for the remaining 3 years. The only reason that Emmanuel Acho is pushing for Kevin Stefanski to get hired because he's doing the dirty work for the Cleveland Browns to get Kevin Stefanski hired. This thing is deeper than football. So much stuff has been exposed. But the only reason he's going hard for Kevin Stefanski is because he wants to be one of those big boys behind the scenes at the table. That's it. That's it. Yep, that is true. Flores does have a case against the NFL. Oh yeah, that's definitely right. He wants to get in good graces with the big boys. Acho, and this is the thing, Acho don't want one of those mid-level seats. Acho wants to be behind the seat. He wants to hold one of them big boy chairs. And right now, all Emmanuel Acho is doing is auditioning for that position to say, hey, it don't matter what my demographics is. I'm going to play your game. Look what I have done for Kevin Stefanski. I have never wavered for Kevin Stefanski. I have never wavered for Kevin Stefanski. I can do your bidding. Just hire me. Just trust me. Even if I waver today, I'm going to come back tomorrow. We've seen Acho say one thing about Kevin Stefanski one day, and about 24 or 48 hours later, he's changing the narratives. He is auditioning for the part and say, hey, even if I put myself in the corner, if I make this statement today, I'm going to show you that I can come back and correct my statements on a platform. That's all Acho doing. Acho is auditioning. I'm trying to tell you. Yes, he does. Acho swings like Mary Kay Cabot. You can't do God people wrong. I'm sorry. Have y'all? I tell you what. Do this before the draft. I need y'all to go back and look at some of these podcasters and these news segments that Mary Kay Cabot was on and Tony Grossi. These people, they looked at totally different 10 months ago. Whatever spiritual battles and whoopings they be getting in the spiritual realm, these people look like they have been through hell and high water because of these narratives that they have put out. These people look totally different. If you don't believe me, go ahead and check the film. Go ahead and check this time last year and this time this year. Those people look like they have been wore out. So let's just say as of now, the Cleveland Browns, they have the number 6 pick and the 24 pick. The number 6 pick, definitely O-line member. I don't care if it's Fano. I don't care if it's his roommate, Caleb Lomu, or however you pronounce his name. You got to get someone on that O-line. Left tackle to protect Shedeur's blind side. When it comes to that 24 pick, I think Tate is going to be gone. Carnell Tate is going to be gone. I think he's going to be gone. I would say choose Jordan Tyson, or who's the other name I wrote down? I got to look up K Concepcion. I do have to look him up. Mekhi Lewis, Jordan Tyson, Denzel Boston, and he's out of Washington. Now, Andrew Berry did state, I think in the top 100 or the top 150 picks, the Cleveland Browns have The Cleveland Browns have 27 picks. 27 picks. The Cleveland Browns have 27 picks in this upcoming draft between pick 1, either 100 or pick 150. That's a lot of players. So how are they going to pay for those players? You know why? And my girl, what she says, sports has already broken this down. The Cleveland Browns is not paying Deshaun Watson $80 million out of their own budget. It's some type of players or team insurance that's actually paying Deshaun Watson's salary this year. So when Andrew Berry stated that they had the money, that's exactly what he was talking about. The Cleveland Browns is not paying Deshaun Watson's salary. That insurance claim is. So the money that they have, 27 players. What? So that's rounds 1 through 5 because Shedeur Sanders went 144. So we're still talking about in the 5th round. So we should see. We'll see. As of now, it's so much speculation and information coming out regarding prospects and head coaches. As of now, my main focus is on head coach, on who the Cleveland Browns is going to pick. And as you know, they have already interviewed a lot of offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. And as of now, that candidate list is just changing. Harbaugh's off the list. Tomlin, you might as well say you can't hire him unless they're going to give up something. And all these other names, McDaniel, Mike McCarthy. So let's talk about Mike McCarthy. I got to look into him, to be honest with him. To be honest with you, I got to look into him. Now, from what I did see, I got to check the data. That's the only reason I don't want to speak on Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, according to, and it could have been a troll or somebody, they saying that he has the same stats or same resume as Tomlin. I doubt it, but I need to verify those facts. But I heard that he was a winning coach. I don't know. I doubt it. Oh man, yeah. So let's go back to Colorado. I think I got sidetracked with Colorado. Whew. So when Jordan Seaton left Colorado this week, or he's entered the transfer portal. He has not been offered yet, but they are still in college, in the collegiate world. I heard is more brutal than the NFL. NFL only got 32 teams. Collegiate teams, I heard is even worse. So as of now, Jordan Seaton has entered the transfer portal. I'm hearing that he may go to Texas. Yes, the Texas team where Archie Manning is. Isn't that a slap in the face? If that is true, they have taken one of the weapons that Deion Sanders was counting on this year to protect Juju Lewis. With Jordan Seaton leaving, now I did hear another player from Georgia is going to has already committed to Colorado. Hopefully that player is going to fill in that vacancy that Jordan Seaton has left. But let's say that player is not. I forgot his position. But Jordan Seaton leaving Colorado, along with Amarion Miller, along with Hayden, along with it's another Miller. 33 players basically have left Colorado this year. And I think it is because they saw that Deion Sanders does not have the ties of the trust in the NFL that, let's say, that Deion Sanders alluded to. Those players are thinking, if they did it to Shedeur Sanders, Deion, Coach Prime's son, what would they do to me? These players are leaving Deion Sanders because Deion Sanders allowed Pat Shumur and Rob Livingston to get away with murder this year on that field. The players are leaving for that. I think I called it in maybe week 7. I think I called it in week 7 or week 6 when Colorado was playing. I was seeing it then. When those players was missing practice and not coming off the bye week late, I knew then Deion Sanders, the same way that Kevin Stefanski lost the locker room, Deion Sanders had lost the Colorado players. It is what it is. Terrence just got a player today that entered the portal even. Okay. He won the Super Bowl. Oh, he won the Super Bowl at Green Bay? Okay. Are you talking about that? Who won the Super Bowl at Green Bay? And I'll look back at the chat in the next minute. But the way that Colorado is losing players, yeah, it's because of the Shedeur Sanders sabotage. They knew that Deion Sanders was a great motivational speaker, a coach that does care. But a lot of those players, let's just be honest, a lot of those players came to Colorado because they thought that Deion Sanders had the connect and the trust with 32 teams. So why not come play for Deion Sanders? Because even we thought, the casual fans, the fans that supported Deion Sanders, had pull in the NFL to get these players drafted, in the top 100. When besides Travis Hunter, and they couldn't deny Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, he was the Heisman winner. So, of course, they had to draft him high, of course. But anybody else on that on that Colorado team, the next player that got taken off the board was Shedeur Sanders, and that was Ryan Five. All those players was probably holding their breath, saying, if they did that to Deion Sanders' son, why should I stay at Colorado? I'm sorry. It is what it is. Mike McCarthy. Okay. Mike McCarthy. Okay. Who is that? Aaron Rodgers? Okay. So maybe some truth to that. Maybe some truth to his resume. Maybe some truth to that. I did hear that Mike McCarthy is a candidate. I don't know where he's going to fall on that candidate list. But I'm pretty sure they're going to look at him seriously as being a potential, potential head coach for the Browns. Whoever they choose, if they choose the right coordinator to come in and give them an opportunity, which I definitely don't want that. I need somebody to come in with head coach experience. If they give an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator that position, I hope they thoroughly interview that person. Even if it's Mike McCarthy, even if it's Tomlin, they need to find out, how do they feel about Shedeur Sanders? How do they feel about his weaknesses? What weaknesses could they assist him in improving? What is their opinion of the OLine? Where do you see the team going in the next year? What can you do for us now? Because of us as the Cleveland Browns, we need to win this season. They let Kevin Stefanski go after 6 years, almost 7 years. So they go have to produce some results this year, because if not, they're going to say, well, it wasn't Kevin Stefanski. It wasn't Kevin Stefanski's fault that they lost. It's the team's fault. Remember, that's the narrative now. So the Browns, if they hire whoever they hire, they need to come in this year here and start winning automatically. Are they not realizing Shedeur Sanders? Well, I think the NFL now is realizing it, that the reason why I'm surprised. I want to know how many are going to come to the combine. That's going to be so telling, because we already know that all the quarterbacks that we're talking about is declaring for the draft this year. I think all of them except for one have reneged. They said, I'm staying in school. They stay in the school. So I want to see this. I hope the NFL don't really have nobody going to the combine. I know the combine. I know that's not going to happen, but I think their number is going to be drastically low this year because of how they did Shedeur Sanders. The NFL has ruined their brand. They have ruined their brand. So many kids now that's in college is going to stay in college because of this situation. They have ruined their own brand because of this sabotage, this collusion. Yeah. All right, Vessels, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Do y'all have any questions for me in the chat? And thank you so much for participating. But yeah, Deion Sanders, 33 players this year. I do know they got some good names, like Boo Carter. He's coming. A lot of people have committed from Colorado, but guess what? That's going to put us back where we were when Deion Sanders first got to Colorado. has all of these players, all of these personalities, rebuilding over and over again. It's going to be difficult. And Deion Sanders, I really think after Colorado, he may even retire. I mean, his health is, we already know what his health is, but Deion Sanders, I really feel like if Deion Sanders does not have a winning year in 2026, I think he's going to step down under the guise of medical reasons. But I think it's like the damage is done. The damage is done. Those players do not have faith in the power that they believe that Deion Sanders had with the NFL. That's why a lot of players went to Colorado. They followed Deion Sanders. A lot of them followed from JSU to Colorado. A lot of players left good colleges just to come to Colorado. Like Jimmy Horn. It's no way Jimmy Horn should have been chosen in the 5th round. If that's the case, he should have stayed in Florida along with LeJohntay Wester. Could have stayed in Florida. What's his name? Will Shepherd. Will Shepherd came to Colorado as a graduate student, thinking that it was going to increase his draft stock. It lowered it. It lowered it. I think he's going to wait to see. I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people now are thinking, because when Jordan Seaton declared for the transfer portal 2 days ago, I think the window was only open for 4 more days. If that is true, I think tomorrow, which is Friday, tomorrow or Saturday, the window is closed. Will close for the transfer portal. A lot of people is scared now or shaking that since Jordan Seaton has left, Juju don't know who he's going to have on that left-hand side. He may enter the portal. And if that happens, we shall see. Miss Sparks, so many people. Acho upset me the other night. He said that the only way that Shedeur Sanders can be successful if Deion Sanders becomes the Cleveland Brown head coach. Shedeur Sanders has already stated out of his own mouth that he is his own man, and the time being with his father and having his father as his head coach, those days are over. Shedeur Sanders says that umbilical cord is cut. And Acho was just trying to, how can I say it? Kind of degrade Shedeur, basically saying he can't win without his daddy, his pappy. So, and that's terminology that Ocho had used earlier this year. He couldn't win without his pappy. Ooh, Acho. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we shall see. But yeah, I think if Juju Lewis leaves Colorado in the next 28 hours, it's over. It's over. All right, so Vestas, if you don't have any questions, I'll wait 2 minutes. I really appreciate everyone in the live. I thank you so much. I got a full house, and I'm definitely going to look up KC Concepcion. And I definitely want to look up, once we get this head coach vacancy filled, I'm going to start looking at other positions of players that may be in the combine that may be good weapons for the Cleveland Browns. Hey, but do y'all think that the Cleveland Browns is going to keep Shedeur Sanders? Put yes or no. Yes, 1 in the chats for yes, 2 in the chats for no. Do you think they pulling our leg just to keep us locked into the news cycle until they say, hey, they're going to draft Shedeur Sanders? Oh, yes? Okay. Hey, thank you for the update. Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, I hope they keep him too, because guess what? They've let go Kevin Stefanski. It will look bad on the Cleveland Browns if they let Shedeur Sanders go after firing Kevin Stefanski. They would be like, well, okay, why did you leave? Why did you let Kevin Stefanski leave if you wasn't going to play Shedeur Sanders? Now, somebody did say Deshaun Watson will be a factor this year. Let's talk about that. Then I'm definitely going to let you go. And I definitely appreciate you coming in to support. Okay. Deshaun Watson. So we already know that Deshaun Watson, his health, his physical training, he's peaking. He's almost back he's fully recovered, almost fully recovered in terms of his physical abilities. Of course, it's going to be headlines that Deshaun Watson he's still on the contract and he's still getting paid $80 million. It's going to be between him and Shedeur Sanders for QB1 this year. Okay, I totally get that. I mean, I get that. He's a veteran. This is Shedeur Sanders. I don't know how they're going to split. We do know that Shedeur Sanders is definitely going to get team 1 reps this year, but who's going to start? I don't know. I really don't know. Do y'all feel that they're going to? Yep, Zappy is gone. Who picked up Zappy as a backup? There was a team that picked up Zappy as a backup. I forgot. And Ryan Staub for CU was picked up also as a backup for a different school. So even Ryan Staub is gone. Ryan Staub is gone from CU also. Yeah, if Deion Sanders lose Juju in the next 24 hours, we can hang it up. We can hang it up. Besides Salter, now Salter may declare, but I haven't heard nothing about him declaring this year for the draft. He may stick around a little bit longer because I guess he may want to go to now I have not heard that he's even entered the transfer portal. So he may declare for the draft if he's not eligible to stay in college. We shall see. So he may enter the draft. So without Salter being there, if Juju Lewis leaves in the next 24 or 48 hours, he's gone. Ryan Staub is gone. The only other quarterback on the roster, I think his name is Peoples or begins with a P. He only played like maybe 5 minutes this year. That's why I don't remember his name. The Jets. Remember they said they gave Deshaun Watson the money. Hey, so we shall see. Oh yeah, that's where Zappy gone. That's right, the Jets. Now see, I wanted Shedeur Sanders to go to the Jets. Oh, I wanted Shedeur Sanders to. I really wanted Shedeur Sanders. I wanted Shedeur Sanders to go to the Jets, but that's not going to happen. But they got Zappy, so I guess they are going to put all of their eggs in one basket for Shedeur Sanders, and I appreciate that because we definitely worked hard this year. All the Vestas, we definitely worked hard this year for Shedeur Sanders, but yeah, I don't know. But the Deshaun Watson thing, yeah, this is probably be his last year. This would definitely be his last year. Definitely with the Cleveland Browns. Unless Deshaun Watson say, yes, I'll be QB2, give Shedeur Sanders all the playing time. That would be, unless he wants to audition for another team, that would probably be the best bet for him. Because once you tear that ACL, the possibility of you re-injuring that part of your body is very high. So he should sit and definitely let Shedeur Sanders be QB1. All right, that's the so. Hey, make sure next time. Hey, do y'all have anything else before I close out? Because I definitely enjoyed the live tonight. I give it another second, but yeah, that's it. So we talked about the relationship between Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. We already know why it was so hard and why Cleveland was so mad that Andrew Berry stayed, Kevin Stefanski left, because everybody knew that relationship except for us. We'll talk about it. Hey, Vestas, guess what? It's only 11 of y'all here. Hey, let me go in and tell you something. Yeah, that is true. He has an identical. That is true. So why he just didn't give up? Okay. Hey, Vestas, so let me tell you something. So I'm working on a video. And Shedeur Sanders' birthday is February the 2nd. Thank you so much, Ms. Sparks. It's February the 2nd. Can you believe that I came across a video at the beginning when I started this channel that this time last year, They were, and I'm going to leave you on this note. This time last year, they already knew that they were going to bring in, when I say they, the Cleveland Browns was going to bring in Dillon Gabriel ahead of Shedeur. Now, if you have watched this channel, you know I don't say things for cap. And you know I don't do clickbait. But I found a video that them people that sit over there on that panel, this time last year, I never even heard of Dillon Gabriel's name until this year. So when I saw the video in October, I said, why was they talking about Dillon Gabriel in Cleveland in last January? Remember, I want you to remember this date, February the 2nd, which is Shedeur Sanders' birthday. And the video that I saw where this particular person in Cleveland was talking about the sabotage on Shedeur Sanders' birthday last year. So Vesters, for the Vesters that came in here, I think my highest count was maybe 19 at one time. And for the 10 that's still here, thank you so much. I will be bringing that video. Now, I definitely don't want to disrespect Shedeur Sanders on his birthday, but I do want to let it out. So I'll probably do it the week before his birthday or the week after his birthday. But this whole collusion thing, Eric Dickerson was right. They picked out Shedeur Sanders this time last year. And that video that fell into my lap, it actually was Shedeur Sanders' birthday. That they had the audacity to sit on that platform and talk about Shedeur Sanders was going to fall in the draft. And somebody asked a very particular question. And when he asked this question, the whole panel was like, what? What? Dillon Gabriel, that's impossible. This one particular man on this platform, he said, but hey, just think about it. They already had this plan. They had this plan. Was it February the 7th? Is it February? Okay, maybe I'm thinking about Shallow's birthday. You look up Shallow's birthday. Okay, even if Shedeur Sanders' birthday is on the 7th, they had this still planned out last year around his birthday. Diabolical. Diabolical. All right, Vesters. So until next time, make sure you get your notes, your drink, and your vest. Hey, because we vested up. Hey, so Vesters, if any one of y'all want to stay back for about 10 minutes and ask me any questions, feel free. But Vesters, thank you so much for attending this live tonight. Hey, and don't give out my secrets, because I definitely plan on doing that video. I definitely plan on doing. Oh, I love you too. He's February the 9th. Okay, well, the video I saw had a time step on February the 2nd of last year. And when this man, and listen, and in this video, everybody knows who this man is, because we have so many people hate him worse. I'm sorry, dislike him more than Tony Grossi now. This man, whoo, everybody is eating him up now. And the video that I saw last year, the timestamp was February the 2nd, 2025. They were talking about Shedeur Sanders sliding. And he brought up Dillon Gabriel's name. And it's like, hey, I'm just going to throw it out there. But everybody said Dillon Gabriel. They laughed, they chuckled. But he was like, well, you just never know. Somebody in Cleveland, which I think is Kevin Stefanski, had already told him that, hey, I'm going to choose Dillon Gabriel. And if I have to get Shedeur Sanders, Dillon Gabriel is definitely going to be selected before Shedeur Sanders. So I will be bringing out that video the week before Shedeur Sanders' birthday or after Shedeur Sanders' birthday. So, hey, it is what it is. All right, well, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and let you get back to your lives, but thank you for hearing me out. And guess what? I will be dropping that video. And remember, the next time you see Acho, making certain statements like that, just know he's just not making those statements. He's auditioning to the higher power. He's not just standing up for Kevin Stefanski the way that you think he is. He's standing up. He's auditioning for a higher position at a bigger table behind the scene. So watch it. Go back and watch some of the highlights. And people are like, why are you standing so much of a Kevin Stefanski? Like, do you know the man? Yes, he knows the man, but he's standing up for the NFL. He's trying to represent them by standing up for Kevin Stefanski. And he's showing them, if I stand up for Kevin Stefanski 10 toes down, just imagine what I'm going to do for all 32 teams. Anybody that needs my support, I'm going to use my platform. That's what Emmanuel Acho is stating. I'll use my platform until I can get a seat at the table. I'm going to use my platform to stand up for your head coach or your DC or your OC. Watch it now. Just watch. All right, Vesters, I said too much. All right, until next time, make sure you get your notes, your drink, and your vest because we vested up. All right, Vesters. Thank you.